Okay guys, this will be for Math 2 and for Math 3. We're looking at filling in this matrix for all of our properties of parabolas. So we've got a fill-in matrix here. We're going to do this both with and without a calculator. This part is without a calculator. So we can use a calculator for computations, but we're not going to use it to graph. So I've tried to refresh you about all the notes that we need to do up here. And we're going to start with this standard form. So if I start with this standard form, of course the first thing I want to know is the A. Right? That's going to tell me the very first thing. The A right here tells me whether it faces up or down. Because this A is positive, it faces up. The next thing, in order to find the vertex, I need the axis of symmetry, and the axis of symmetry has a formula. It has the formula negative b over 2a. So I'm going to use that formula, negative b over 2a. I come over here to get my a and my b. I've already used the a once, but I'm going to use it again. And I just found out that x equals negative 3. Once you know the axis of symmetry, you can use that to help you find the vertex, or excuse me, the min or the max value. So I'm going to plug in the axis of symmetry value. So I come over here, and I'm going to plug in that value, x equals negative 3. Alright, so here's my quadratic, x squared plus 6x minus 3. I plug in a negative 3. I carefully use my calculator or my computations to find out that y is negative 12. Alright, now my question for you is negative 12 a minimum or a maximum value? Well, look over here at A. A faces up, so it has a minimum value right there at the very bottom. So this negative 12 must be a minimum. Alright, now together these two give you the vertex. I must have done this in a different order. Together these two give you the vertex though, so that's where that came from. And of course that's where I mentioned that it was the minimum. Okay, the last column, the other column here, I've got the y-intercept. The y-intercept is always the c, so if I head back to my regular equation and look at the c, I can see that the c is negative 3, so that means my y-intercept is negative 3. Okay. Now, we're going to do zeros later this week. This is a little bit out of order, so I'm going to skip the zeros for right now and just talk about domain and range. And the domain of this.
Rebecca Murphy, if you're in the building, please
the domain of this is all real numbers.
Rebecca Murphy, please come to the
all real
office.
numbers, because all quadratics always have all real numbers. And then the range, remember, this is the minimum at negative 12, so that means it's from negative 12 up. So that's not correct. The range should be negative 12 and up. Alright, that's the idea. You guys, we're going to go ahead and work through the rest of those two. I got another example for you. I'll just let you watch it, but I'm not going to walk through it. Alright, I encourage you to stop anytime you need to look through those. Notice I wrote the vertex form based off of what I found to be the vertex. Okay, that's very important. Down at the bottom, I actually give it to you in vertex form first. So if I give it to you in vertex form, filling these charts out is easy because I give you the vertex. So as you can tell, the vertex is the very first thing I give you. It's pretty easy to check out. Alright. Once you know the vertex, of course, the axis of symmetry and the minimum or maximum value come from those two numbers. Now, how do I know if that's a min or a max? Well, I have to go check out my A. So since my A is a 1, A is a 1, it's right there in front. Since A is a 1, it faces up, and I will have a minimum value. The domain in the range, again, the domain is always all real numbers for a quadratic. And for the range here, it's everything from -2 up. All right, I skipped that part. I forgot about it. I'm sorry. But in order to change from vertex over to standard, okay, you are going to FOIL that out. So take this and FOIL it out. And I end up with this 7 here, because right here, 3 times 3 is 9, and then the 9 minus the 2 is the 7. Of course, and the 7 gives you your y-intercept over here. Okay, on the other side, I gave you all of the same kind of information, but this time I do want you to use a calculator. So look, I've given you the buttons to press to find the vertex of a calculator. I've given you how to find the axis symmetry and the min or max based off of that vertex. I've reminded you how to find the y-intercept using the calculator. So really, when you do the calculator side, you really should do a combination of what you already know and what the calculator tells you. I start off, again, I can put this in the calculator and I can see clearly that it faces up. Or I can just look at the A. All right. I press these buttons on the calculator, second calculate number 3 or number 4, and I found out my vertex. All right, not a lot to say on this side. I'd be glad to help you press buttons on the calculator. I don't have a calculator here on the computer to show you, so you might be better off just asking those questions in class.